Imagine a nation, utterly dependent on a thin lifeline of resources stretching thousands of miles across a vast, unforgiving ocean. Every drop of oil, every ton of rubber, every supply was critical to its war machine. These materials were the lifeblood of the Japanese military, all carried by slow, vulnerable ships. By the summer of 1944, Japanese admirals faced a terrifying and silent threat: the American submarine. No matter how many escort ships they deployed, no matter how many depth charges exploded in the emptiness of the sea, the American submarines continued to hunt. They were the silent service slowly, relentlessly, choking the Japanese war machine. The sheer logistical failure caused by these attacks contributed to a rising panic within the Imperial Navy's high command, who could do little to protect their scattered and precious shipping. And then there was the night asterisk. The night when a single American submarine, commanded by a man whose name would become legendary, unleashed a maelstrom of steel and fire. An attack so aggressive, so devastating, it sent shockwaves through the highest command of the Imperial Japanese Navy. A night so successful, it became known as Ramage Rampage. This is the story of how one submarine terrified an entire fleet. By mid-1944, the tide of the Pacific War had turned decisively against Japan. American forces were island-hopping closer to the Japanese home islands, and resources were becoming scarce. The oil, rubber, and bauxite from the conquered territories in Southeast Asia had to be shipped north through a handful of vital sea lanes, concentrated into tightly packed convoys. These convoys were not just logistics. They were the very arteries of the Japanese war effort. The loss of any one ship was a setback. The loss of an entire convoy was a major strategic failure that could halt entire military operations. The sinking rate had become unsustainable for Japan's dwindling shipbuilding capacity. The task of severing these arteries fell to the U.S. submarine fleet. Operating in enemy-controlled waters, their patrols were fraught with danger from depth charges, patrol planes, and the constant threat of enemy escorts. The American submarines, primarily the formidable Ballo-class asterisk, were sophisticated, deep-diving hunters. They pressed on, engaging in a brutal, attritional war that receives far less fanfare than the great carrier battles, but which was arguably just as crucial to the final victory. The attrition on the Japanese merchant marine was the war's hidden but decisive factor. But the real variable was always the man at the periscope, and few were as bold or as aggressive as Lieutenant Commander Lawson P. Ramage. Ramage was a career naval officer and a veteran submariner, known for his relentless energy and a cool, decisive approach under the most extreme pressure. He instilled in his crew, aboard the USS Parche a philosophy of never giving up and always pressing the attack, even when the odds seemed impossible. Ramage understood that the element of surprise was the submarine's greatest asset, and he was known for being willing to break with standard doctrine to achieve his objective, prioritizing the kill above conventional safety. He was a commander whose leadership was a potent weapon in its own right. In July 1944, Parche was deployed as part of a wolf pack, a coordinated group of submarines including the USS Steelhead and USS Hammerhead, designed to overwhelm a convoy's defenses. Operating in the critical shipping lanes west of the Mariana Islands, their mission was to strike at convoys moving vital supplies to the central Japanese base at Manila in the Philippines, and onward to Japan. This particular area, a known funnel for traffic near the Luzon Strait in Taiwan, was heavily patrolled and considered an extremely dangerous hunting ground. The stakes were immense. Ramage and his crew knew that if they could successfully attack a convoy here, the strategic blow to the Japanese war effort would be catastrophic. The pressure on the crew during these long patrols was intense. Days of silent, dark running, punctuated by the mechanical hum of the boat and the tense silence of men listening for the telltale sounds of propellers. Every man knew a single mistake. A sudden ping of sonar or an untimely engine noise could lead to a swift, violent death beneath the waves. Ramage was particularly known for his preference for night surface attacks. This was a controversial choice. While submerged, a submarine was safest, but it was also slow, surfacing the boat to use its more powerful diesel engines, making it capable of speeds over 20 knots, was a high-risk maneuver. It made the submarine visible to radar and open to surface gunfire from escorts. Ramage, however, embraced the danger. He knew that the faster surface speed allowed him to chase down convoys, weave through their escort screen, and get into a close, optimal firing position. He believed that the ensuing chaos of a night surface attack at point-blank range was the only way to guarantee a kill against multiple, maneuvering targets. It was a high-risk, high-reward strategy that required absolute mastery of the boat and nerves of solid steel. On the evening of July 30th, 1944, those days of waiting and preparation would finally come to an end. It was the moment Ramage had been training his crew for. Just before midnight, the Parche's radar operator detected a massive, slow-moving blip on the screen, a clear indication of a significant target. It was not just a convoy. It was a super convoy designated My 11 the most important collection of Japanese merchant ships and transports they could have hoped for. The Japanese convoy consisted of 24 vessels, including 4 huge tankers packed with desperately needed fuel oil and critical troop transports carrying thousands of soldiers. The escorts were numerous and vigilant, a thick defensive screen designed to protect the precious cargo. Ramage knew this was his chance to deal a historic blow. As he plotted his attack, he disregarded the standard procedure of firing from a distance. He would take the Parche and plunge straight into the very heart of the enemy formation. The stage was set. In the darkness of the South China Sea, Lawson P. Ramage turned the Parche toward the enemy, preparing to break every rule of engagement in a desperate, daring gambit that would decide the fate of 5 ships in a single, frenzied night. The terror was about to begin. The Japanese convoy, designated Mi 11, stretched across the dark expanse of the South China Sea. It was a massive, moving city of vital war materials. Dozens of ships, heavy with oil and troops, guarded by a ring of destroyers and frigates designed to hunt and destroy any approaching submarine. For Lieutenant Commander Ramage aboard the USS Parche, the clock was ticking. Daylight would bring Japanese aircraft, forcing the Parche to dive and lose contact. The attack had to happen in the pre-dawn darkness, but the convoy was still miles away and the escorts formed a formidable screen. Ramage immediately made his critical decision: surface speed *. The Parche surged to life on the surface, pushing its powerful diesel engines to their limit, racing to close the gap. It was an agonizing gamble. On the surface, the Parche was faster but utterly exposed. If the escort screen's radar picked them up, the hunter would instantly become the hunted. Ramage guided his submarine with almost impossible precision, daring to pass through the very lanes between the escort vessels. He utilized the cover of rain squalls and the minimal light, trusting his radar operator and his own exceptional instincts. The crew worked with synchronized urgency, knowing they were traveling at high speed through a nest of enemy warships. Every creak of the hull, every whisper of the engine seemed deafening. The initial plan to sneak around the outside was abandoned. Ramage decided to penetrate the screen directly, a move so audacious it confused the vigilant Japanese escorts. He was now operating inside the enemy formation. The moment of truth arrived just before 4:00 a.m. on July 31st. Ramage was on the bridge, the wind whipping past, the shapes of the massive transports looming in the gloom. He ordered the first spread of torpedoes, A crippling stern shot aimed at a freighter that was part of the convoy's outer column. The torpedo ran true, scoring a devastating hit. The darkness instantly shattered. The sound of the explosion was a signal, a call to chaos. As flares shot into the sky from the escorts, illuminating the scene in stark, unforgiving light, Ramage saw his true targets, a pair of huge, vital tankers leading the main body. He swerved the Parche into position, maneuvering violently in the churned water, firing bow torpedoes at the lead tanker. Hit after hit ripped into the tanker's hull. The massive ship immediately erupted in fire, its deck splitting open as thousands of gallons of high-octane oil ignited. It was a spectacular, terrifying inferno that became an accidental beacon, further illuminating the chaos. The Japanese ships, now fully aware of the attack but unable to pinpoint the submerged source, began firing wildly. Machine guns and small deck cannons blazed across the water, the terrifying snap of shells passing close over the Parche's bridge. Ramage, the epitome of calm, remained exposed, refusing to seek safety below. He knew that seconds of delay meant mission failure. With incredible composure, he directed his men below the deck, retaining only a quartermaster on the bridge to assist. The air was thick with smoke, the cries of sinking ships and the roar of engines. In the heart of this exploding battlefield, Ramage targeted a second tanker, firing his stern tubes. Another series of satisfying, concussive explosions signaled another kill, sending the second tanker down by the bow. The convoy had devolved into total disarray. Ships were turning erratically, escorts were searching wildly, and the Parche was right in the middle of it all, an eye in the storm. Then came the moment of ultimate danger. As Ramage was lining up a shot on a large troop transport, the transport suddenly broke formation and charged. Its crew had spotted the Parche's telltale white wake in the light of the burning tanker. It was attempting to ram Closing at high speed, the transport was mere seconds away from crushing the submarine and ending the Rampage. In a display of seamanship that remains legendary, Ramage ignored the temptation to dive. He knew a collision was imminent if he stayed his course. Instead, with a calmness that belied the horror of the situation, he ordered the Parche to swing hard. Using the submarine's greater speed, Ramage drove the Parche across the onrushing transport's bow forcing a terrifying near miss. The massive transport thundered past, clearing the Parche's stern by less than 50 feet. The noise was deafening, the spray blinding. The submarine was now perfectly positioned. Rather than retreat, Ramage pressed his advantage. Immediately after the near collision, the Parche was perfectly aligned to fire her stern tubes at the transport that had just tried to kill them. Ramage ordered the torpedoes down the throat of the onrushing ship, followed by a final, killing hit from his stern tubes as the ship separated. In that intense, furious, 46-minute close-quarters battle, Commander Ramage had not only survived a direct ramming attempt, but had used the terrifying maneuver to set up a lethal counterstrike. The Japanese transport was doomed. In less than an hour, the Parche had delivered a series of rapid-fire, fatal blows. The submarine had maneuvered between sinking ships and desperately searching escorts, facing down certain death and emerging victorious, leaving a devastating trail of destruction in its wake. The Japanese admirals would soon be receiving reports that defied belief. A single American submarine had somehow broken their most secure convoy and annihilated it from the inside. The full extent of the Rampage was still unfolding. As the first hints of dawn began to paint the sky, the hellish melee of Rampage finally subsided. The 46 minutes of intense, close-quarters combat had left the Japanese convoy Mi-11 utterly devastated. The USS Parche miraculously unscathed, slipped away from the area, running on the surface at high speed to escape the inevitable surge of Japanese anti-submarine forces. Commander Ramage looked back at a scene of total destruction. three massive columns of black smoke rising against the pale sky, marking the grave of the enemy ships, while others were listing and burning. The vital, fuel-laden lifeline to the Japanese war machine was severed. The initial report from the Parche was astounding. 4 ships sunk and a fifth heavily damaged in one sustained surface attack. Post-war analysis, conducted by the Joint Army-Navy Assessment Committee, or JANAC, confirmed the staggering success. The Parche was officially credited with sinking 2 major vessels, the Manko Maru cargo ship and the massive Koi Maru ** tanker, and severely damaging another. However, Ramage's successful teamwork with the Wolfpack partner, the USS * Steelhead, contributed to the sinking of the ** Yashino Maru * troop transport, which went down with a catastrophic loss of life. In total, the coordinated attack by the 2 boats, masterminded by Ramage's incredible penetration, resulted in the loss of * 5 ships from the convoy and thousands of troops, a crippling blow to Japan's immediate supply needs. When the reports from the surviving Japanese escorts finally reached headquarters, the reaction was a mixture of utter disbelief and mounting dread. The Admirals had designed their convoy system to defeat the conventional submarine threat: high speed, extensive air cover during the day, and a tight screen of escorts at night. Ramage had not just defeated their system, he had * mocked it. Their internal analysis would confirm the terrifying nature of the attack. Ramage had deliberately driven his submarine into the center of the formation, where the escorts would never expect a submerged attack, and certainly not a * surface attack *. By maneuvering on the surface at speed, he had been faster than the convoy ships and able to pivot and fire multiple spreads of torpedoes rapidly, a tactic impossible from a fixed submerged position. The Japanese escorts, caught in the Inferno, had spent critical minutes firing at shadows and each other, unable to believe a submarine was weaving through their ranks like a destroyer. This single, aggressive act confirmed the worst fear of the Japanese Admiralty. The Americans had a new breed of commander who was willing to gamble everything, and their once secure shipping lanes were now a death trap. The success of Rampage rippled across the U.S. Navy. When the * Parche returned to port, Commander Lawson P. Ramage was greeted not just as a hero, but as a legend. For his conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Ramage was awarded the * Medal of Honor *, the highest military decoration in the United States. He was the first living submariner of World War II to receive the Medal of Honor, an honor that recognized not just his skill, but his unparalleled bravery in placing himself on the exposed bridge to personally direct the furious, life-and-death battle. The crew of the * Parche also received the Presidential Unit Citation for their teamwork and courage during the engagement. The actions of the USS * Parche were a perfect representation of the strategic impact of the U.S. submarine force. The silent service accounted for less than 2% of the total naval force, yet was responsible for sinking * 55% of all Japanese merchant shipping and a significant portion of their navy. This relentless attrition effectively strangled Japan's economy and military capability, preventing oil from reaching its battleships and rubber from reaching its factories. The Japanese war machine was starved into submission long before the final shots were fired. Commander Ramage finished the war alive, a testament to his skill and luck, and went on to a highly decorated career in the Navy, retiring as a vice admiral. The USS * Parche continued its heroic patrols, earning 5 battle stars before the war's end, living up to its motto: to seek, to strike, to destroy. The legacy of Rampage is more than just a tally of sunken ships. It's a study in tactical audacity and leadership under fire. It demonstrates how a single commander, driven by courage and a fierce determination to press the attack, could utterly shatter a powerful enemy formation. For the Japanese admirals, it was the night their fear was validated. A single submarine could, and did, devastate their vital supply line, proving that even in the vastness of the ocean, there was no safe harbor from the deadly efficiency of the American silent service. The story of the Parche remains a testament to the fact that in naval warfare, the greatest strength often comes from the unseen hunter, operating